Happy Lunar New Year.
Yes, happy Lunar New Year. So, how are you both?
We're great. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
That's
It's amazing.
here. Yeah.
So as like a day one fan, I'm struggling really hard not to like go into like tons of spoilers for those who haven't seen it yet, as it goes to Netflix. So, but I will try. But I do really want to talk so let's start with our toy and her love for her girls. I mean, she will do anything to protect them. What was it like to bring this out? Because at first, you could come across as just another madam of a brothel, but you're not. So what was it like bringing this character alive?
It's been a journey for sure. I mean, when I first saw the role, I had a sense of reticence about it because, it's a really painful thing for a lot of Asian women to play sex workers on screen because of the very painful historical connotation that we carry with our introduction to North America. But I trusted in the team and they didn't let me down in terms of allowing me moments of vulnerability and humanism for you to understand what her journey was to get here and that in her own way, she uses what she can and she does what she can to protect the community of women that she has under her wing. So it's been a really artistically fulfilling journey in that sense. And it's also paralleled things that have happened in the pandemic that gave me an outlet to bring some of that pain on screen and at least use it in a way that will hopefully, move conversations forward.
I mean, as season three gets into it, without, too many spoilers, she gets this chance at the American dream. She gets this chance to escape Chinatown and that life, and then it's all ripped from her. What was it like bringing that out to see, just that hope and light diminish?
That was difficult in a sense. I mean, when we're actors, we kind of come on to set and we do our best to leave it at the, like leave it where it is and go on in our lives. But I think with everything we went through in the pandemic and even experiences that I've had before the pandemic, it just sort of brought up and was a reminder that our show is too topical for things that happen in the world to the Asian community in the ways that we're invisibilized, in the ways that um, you know, we are seen within a narrative that we had no part in constructing. So it was hard at times, but it was also cathartic at times.
So Perry, with Father John, we he's one of those characters that you don't know whether to like or not at first, and then you get his backstory. So what was it like for you to bring this to life, to actually have these multi layers? He's like an onion.
He is an onion. And when I first read the script, I thought, because I know Asian American history, I have a minor in Asian American studies, and I know who that guy is. He's an activist, right? He's also the archetype of the strong man in Chinatown. But why does he do what he do? And then the way that he wrote the words, some of it was like the sentence that really popped out to me when I first read the script to audition was, we are the most powerful tongue in Chinatown to prevent the violence of the ducks upon us. And I went, that's Malcolm X. So I went and did the research on Malcolm X, and it turns out he's unlike anything that the media portrays him as. He's a very loving guy to his community. Everyone thinks he's a very sensitive, supporting, nice guy, but we don't get that from the community. So I went, how do I bring this guy who cares about his community into the words that Jonathan Tropper wrote? And in between all the lines, of course, it is about I care about my community more than anything, and that's what I do. What I do, right? So I can take what is considered a trope in these sort of epic Hollywood stories and humanize it. And I thought, well, people need to eventually cheer for Father June, right? He's not just a villain. He is we need to know why he's the villain, and we all have trauma. So we're bad. We behave very poorly when we have trauma, right? So I had to find the trauma, kind of release it in a very gentle way in the words so that the audience can go, there's something under that. There's a reason why he's doing that.
Oh, how did you manage to, balance this whole his love for community, but there is a love for his son underneath it all. He just wants his son to be more like him. How did you balance all that? And I know a lot of it is in the writing, but there's also a part of you bringing the character out. So how did you do that?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So to balance what is sort of like very just topical storyline to generate drama into something that is empathy. Eventually we reach to the heart of what that is about. So I just looked at, Jason Tobin as my son. Really, he's my son. And what do I need to impart to my son in this world that is full of systemic you know, oppression and racism? It's like, how can I teach him to behave better and to actually respect our brothers? Don't just risk our lives going into battle for ego, right? So I have to somehow feel those things as I say the words. And so hopefully that's all subtext for an actor. I have to say the words, then I have to find a meaning of why I say that that makes it more complex. So it's about love for your community, your brothers, and make sure you factor those in as you make the hard decisions.
And there is that beautiful but heartbreaking episode in season 3, without spoiling too much. But what were the conversations going into that? And because you spent a lot more, I think you spent a lot more time with Jason on screen than you have done at any other point up to that episode.
Yes, yes. So I think that the show writers, when we found out we had a season 3, they went, we have to bring Father June back. And this is gangster. This is a gangster story, right? We have to send them off in the most gangster way, right? And so we just can't see Father June as the last, leaving Chinatown as our last image. So they really built up the death of Father June, which was such a gift to an actor to have an incredible emotional arc like that. So the thing that goes back to what Jason and I talk about when we hang out off screen is our show, Warrior, is such an incredible show that really highlights who we are as human beings, right? Our story is just, by that time, our story is father and son. I've sort of like left the tong. I'm just sort of, trying to, inspire him with some good, philosophy. And Jason and I talk about what a gift this show is to show Asian fathers and sons, because we never see that on Hollywood television. So we went, well, how do we, how do we do this, right? Justice. And it's such a privilege, and an important moment for us. So we just handled it with a lot of care. We listened to each other. We're very giving. Jason Tobin is an incredible actor, and he really knows how to listen and give and be in the scene together, right? Because if we enjoy the scene, it's so much richer. So it was a difficult thing for him to have I don't know if I should say spoiler, but you can bleep it out, but it's a mercy killing, and I've never seen that scene between a father and son on a television. So we handled it with so much care. You don't have to push anything. Every little gentle thing is suggested and is big. So we handled it with a lot of care in respect to who we represent, and the weight of our images and how that represents Asian Americans in the mass media. There's a privilege and there's a responsibility.
The, Olivia, I think you did it more than what Perry had to. You had to, speak with your regular accents, your regular voice, and then break it down into the broken English when you were talking to the white characters. How that had to have been so difficult to do. I mean, it's a testament to your acting abilities.
It's so funny because thank you for asking that question, because I've been asked that in real life and I've never had a chance to talk about it to someone in press. It is actually incredibly easy for me because that is my family's sound. That is what my that's what my mother sounds like. It's what my father sounds like. It's what many people in Hong Kong sound like, because they're if you actually think of that stereotypical Cantonese accent, the musicality of it actually comes from the British accent. You know, the Brits lift on the vowels, and so, you know, for me to switch in to this kind of sound is something that's it's just very natural for me, right? It's like I know that sound, so I think that's what I love about that vocal device that we have in our show, because it's another layer. It's another way for me to be able to contribute to who I come from, what I come from, and the culture that I'm on screen representing. To be able to play that accent not as a joke, not as a device where the audience is laughing at me because of the way I'm trying to express myself, but that you are with me and understanding that I know you think I'm stupid. I know you think that I am less than because I don't speak English the way you do. You have no idea how smart I am. And in fact, I'm so smart that I'm going to take the way you're undermining me. I'm actually going to make fun of you and take your money while I'm at it. That's our toy.
Well,
She's
thank
gonna
you
make
so
the
much.
Chinese.
Yeah.
She's gonna make the Chinese accent sexy.
I loved it, and I loved how it was so easy to figure out which language you were meant to be speaking throughout the whole show based on how you were speaking to individual characters.
To be honest, it was speaking the Cantonese that was the most challenging because I'm more comfortable in Mandarin. So every time I was speaking Cantonese, no matter how much I practiced, my ears would like come near my shoulders because I was just, you know, just trying to settle. But by season 3, I think I was much more settled. Whereas if it had been Mandarin, I would.
Well, thank you so much for your time. That's all I've got. But I really hope Netflix saves this show.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Alexandra. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Thank you, Alexander.